And we'll kick right in. Welcome to tonight's webinar as part of our Utah Reading League series. I guess Reading League Utah would be the more appropriate way to say that. We are here to learn about how to effectively use decodables so that we can maximize our return on investment with our kids and the time spent in getting that authentic connected text experience, even in a controlled text setting. So with that said, let's jump into just our normal starting. We are the Reading League Utah, and I am the events manager, so just get to be the host of all these webinars. And Utah's chapter started in January of 2025, so if you're like, I didn't even know we had one, now you do. And for those of you that are joining us again, I see some familiar names, like welcome back. Our mission is really to advance the understanding of evidence-aligned practice so that all of our students can really learn to read and at high levels as early as possible so that they don't have to struggle in this space. And really the vision was set by Dr. Maria Murray, who is the president and CEO of the Reading League National. I call it the parent organization, but really we are the kids. We are still growing in our practice. And really this webinar series has been one way for us to connect with our members. And our members are teachers, coaches, administrators, in-service teachers who are looking to become the future teaching faculty, as well as our principals who are, leading this work in their schools. And so we're excited to get to learn from Dr. Maria Murray tonight to get started. I'm Jennifer Thronson. I'm just your host. In the chat box, for those of you that are participants, if you will put in your name, your location, and your role so that Dr. Murray kind of gets a sense of who's here. It helps as a presenter to know like, oh, I can speak to the kindergarten teacher or the coach or the administrator that might be here tonight by kind of seeing those roles. Specifically. So just in the chat box, your name, first name's fine, your role and where you're coming from tonight would be great just to kind of get a sense of our audience. We'll give you just a few for that. Thank you. I told Dr. Murray, we always have people not from Utah and we are so welcome. We're all trying to do this work together. So we're glad you found the Reading League Utah's resources and please share yours with us as I know the Reading League states do this kind of work across the country. And so there are lots of opportunities at any one time. And we still have a little light here, but we've got people coming from Wisconsin. Dr. Maria Murray's in New York, so already dark there. We still have some light for at least another hour, so we might make it. Look at this. We've got Utah, Texas, New York, Wisconsin, Colorado. It's a good combo tonight.
Love it.
Like I told you, like it's always an eclectic
Awesome.
group. We've got a kindergartnist, a reading interventionist, a specialist. What a great group. What a unique, sorry, Dr. Murray, it is not like only one group, it's all the roles. So pretty typical. I'm going to introduce Dr. Murray and then she's going to take things away. So in terms of just her background, as I said, she's the founder and CEO of the Reading League, which is really a nonprofit organization who is here to foster evidence-aligned reading practice so that we can all do the best by our kids that we can and truly have the greatest impact possible to develop our future readers. She was an associate professor at the State University of New York in Oswego, and I hope I said that right.
Perfect.
Okay, Curriculum Instruction Department, where she taught courses related to literacy assessment and intervention for a decade. She also got her PhD in reading education from Syracuse University, where she was a project coordinator for federal funding related to reading initiatives, which I'm sure was some fun, exciting work back then. And your current interests, from what I have here, is prevention and remediation of reading difficulty. Yay, we all want to prevent it, but if we do have it, that's how we remediate it. The types of text used in beginning reading, which is really going to be kind of our topic tonight around decodables, the connection between research and practice and reading programs, like how do people take what we know in the research and actually apply it into written curricula, and then teacher knowledge through reading instruction, like how that knowledge plays out is how I'm interpreting that. But if you want to add anything, feel free. And because this is a nonprofit organization, you really do this out of the kindness of your heart. And it's really a large organization in only a decade's time. I think you told me 46 of the 50 states have a chapter already. So it has grown consistently and all 50 will be in by the end of the year, which is an exciting place. So we're excited to have you, Dr. Murray, and for you to share your expertise with us because I know decodables, we really highlighted this as anyone who's using decodable text, what's the best way to do that? So I'm going to let you go ahead and share your screen and I will be quiet and I'll just field questions in the chat box. If you have them, feel free to put them in. And then as they feel appropriate, I'll either insert them into the conversation or we'll save them till the end, depending on the flow. So with that said, feel free to take over.
We'll make it happen. It'll be good. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you for all you do for Utah. And I want to welcome everyone to this session. Thank you so much for coming. And um, I want to just spend a short minute on my topic on this, or interest in this topic. It started really when uh, I was beginning to teach at the SUNY in the SUNY system. I did that for another 10 years. And one of the students came up to me and said, for the project we have to do at the end of the semester where we choose an intervention and determine whether it's evidence aligned, can I do LLI? And I said, sure. And I kind of wrote it on, this is Fountas and Pinnell's LLI. And I never heard of LLI, but I had to act called cool and say, yeah, that's good, do that. And just make a note and run home, get on the computer, look up LLI. Almost, I cannot believe that this thing exists. I call everybody I know under the sun in a 100-mile radius. Oh, yeah, our school just bought it. Our school just bought it. Our school just bought it. And I tore into that teacher's manual and I tore into the accompanying books for each lesson and was not surprised, yet absolutely horrified at how much, I won't shake my pencil at everybody, but I was really horrified at how little connection. So they would maybe teach a little word work on a CVC, but then there wasn't one single CVC word in the book. So I knew. So I ended up doing a few years of research on it, and I ended up publishing with my colleague a paper in elementary school journal and analyzing the connection between texts and the words that are taught in lessons. So this has been an endearing joy of mine to talk about decodable text in particular. I can talk about any kind of text, but here we were. I'm excited to get started with everybody. And like I told Jennifer, every time I talk, I've done this talk many, many times, but I change it up a little bit. So I did make a few notes so I don't forget to say the new things I think are important to tell you. So,
Love it.
all right.
We
Yeah.
get the newest, bestest version.
Yes, you do. So thank you, TRL Utah. You're going to bring your mission across the state. Please do join them if you are in Utah. You can join them if you're not in Utah.
We do have
And
non-Utah members.
yeah, isn't that great?
It is.
It takes a league, and the logo in itself exemplifies the fact that each reading league, whether it's the national one or the state chapters, are comprised of people who have a lot of knowledge in some areas and hardly any in other areas. So all of us together will be able to get the job done because we can always find someone that knows this little bit about that and whatever, linguistics, you name it. So join, volunteer, donate, and I encourage everyone to do that. That's a cute picture from our last conference in Chicago of people from TRL Utah at your table. So we're going to go through some main ideas tonight of what is the goal and deliberate intentional design of decodable text. Why are they built the way that they are? And understanding, you're going to walk away tonight. You will be able to, there's our goal statement, understand and describe that how decodability is really a characteristic of the reader, not the text. I love that. I think that's such a cool nuance. We're going to skip across this little thing called lesson to text match. You don't have to ever calculate that, but having an understanding of what that is will help you when you open these in front of you and look at them and determine whether that's the right choice to use or send home for more practice. Then I'm going to give 10 tips on using them. They're kind of all over the place, but they're great tips. And my favorite ones of those are the ones that have to do with building stamina and motivation for students who are new to reading, and even reading a decodable text is like hard for them. And then a few last words, and then we'll all say goodbye until the next time. So, what is the goal of pretty much um, we want to make independent readers, right? People who can grab a book, read it accurately, read it automatically, comprehend it, its language and all the other pieces of it. And suffice it to say that text for beginning readers, whether they're decodable or not, There are those LLI books. Those are for beginning readers too. There's predictable ones, there's leveled ones, etc. I'm going to spend like 2 slides on those. But for decodable texts, the focus of tonight's presentation, they're just one tool. And I don't like tool in your toolbox, but they're not the only tool. But if we do want that to be our goal, to build independent readers who can read accurately and automatically, we better make sure that decodable texts are one of the tools in our toolbox. And I think you'll see that at the end of the presentation too. All right, let's talk a smidgen about level text. I think I have, yeah, just one slide on these. Used to have more. I took them out and saved you from listening to it because they're not such a predominant thing in schools anymore. So I can ease back on this. So you're familiar with them. These are the texts that are organized according to some, usually a lettered or numbered gradient, determined solely on the whim of the publisher. There's no science to those. There never was. It's just a random assignment of a gradient. That's also fascinating to me, but sometime when we meet in person. The earliest levels of predictable text are highly predictable, right? Level A, level B, whatever. And there's a huge, high level of picture match to the words on the page. I know you've seen this, and this allows a beginning reader to, air quotes, read the word using the picture, not the print. It features high word repetition, repeated sentence frames. I see a bird in the sky. I see a plane in the sky. I see a cloud in the sky. So you know what I'm talking about. Predictability and leveling in general are a design feature to serve as crutches. And I love what my friend and colleague that helped me write that paper, she said one day, she blurted out, she goes, "These make reading easy at a time when it's not supposed to be easy." I'm like, oh, I love that. That's going to be a speech bubble forever. Uh, and so they don't require our brain to form those connections between the print on the page to the sounds. I mean, if you've seen the neural networks, that the circuitry that is built when we learn to read. So we and plus we know that repeated practice in something is just beneficial for the science of learning, right? So level text doesn't build instruction or valuable practice between what was explicitly taught in your lesson and how that can be used to identify/decode words. So kids read these texts and you print those words on the paper or on a card and show them somewhere else, they cannot read those words. All right, we're good enough for that. We're just going to kind of leave that behind, but it's always nice to have a what is not decodable text. I don't know, I'll do this one. Yeah, cool, we'll go through. All right. So this is a presentation about decodable text. So now we get to focus on them, and they are a tool designed for teaching beginners to decode over in this brownish box, and definitely fostering that accurate and automatic reading with that intentional and frequent opportunity to consciously apply patterns that have been taught. There's so much in that sentence, really. Accurate, automatic, intentional, frequent, conscious patterns taught. I love that. So, and they definitely are to be used in, if everyone's familiar with the Scarborough rope, I assume, the lower strands is where decodable texts are to be used. Jennifer and I were talking at the beginning before everyone else got to join us about how decodable texts aren't best for read alouds or things like that. That's not the tool for them. So they are intentionally designed. Every word is chosen, every phrase is chosen, etc., to have a proportion of words with phonetically regular correspondences, not irregular letter sound correspondences. So you would typically not see a word like sleigh at like Santa's sleigh right away until that EIGH pattern is turned or learned. So there's so many, unusual words, chandelier, etc., that's not really got a lot of phonetically regular things for a beginner, especially. And they're designed to have a degree of match between those correspondences and what was in the teacher manual, what you taught them that day. I assume many of us on this call at least spent a little bit of time with a musical instrument, whether they took prolonged lessons or not. And I took piano, I don't know, Jennifer, instrument ever?
Piano. I was
All
not
right.
musically inclined, but piano.
Nor was I, but my father forced 7 years in me, but I don't know.
Oh, 7 years.
Oh
I
my
only
God.
do
And
a
never,
year.
I never got good. But so when my teacher would move me on to the next thing, maybe it was B flat that I was ready to learn in my book. She showed me where it was on the keyboard, or if you learn flute or a string instrument, right? You learn what your finger has to do to press down the string or the key or the button. And then do you go home that day and play a song without that? No. The teacher gives you a little strip, maybe 2 lines or, a few measures to make sure at least that B flat gets in. And that's how it goes with all learning. Sports, right? And all those things we do, math, etc. It's a building up. Okay, saying the obvious. Let's move on a little bit. Okay, so this slide is the one I'm excited about to emphasize that decodability is really a characteristic of the reader, not the text. Both the texts you see, they're both from the SIPS. I just randomly chose. It's like a collaborative classroom SIPS Plus um, program, and I chose the page on the left because it was earlier in the program, and then the page on the right. These are not next to each other side by side. They're torn apart, and I just took pictures. So. Um, both of these books are actually phonetically regular. I mean, there is the word people on the one on the right, which is a little bit irregular in some degree to some degree. But so these side by side images, the one on the left is, I wrote this down tonight, the sixth, because I've never had that before, 16th lesson in their program. So it comes along pretty early, and you can see what's required to decode. These readers must have learned closed syllables, run, lab, not, will, etc. And what else? And the AY vowel team, play and stay, in order for this passage to be something that they can decode, so that this passage for them is decodable, able to be decoded. On the right-hand side is the story from the 43rd passage in the program. I don't have the scope and sequence in front of me to tell you exactly what the phonic elements have been taught, but I think we can kind of take away from that if you look along with me, and I'll name some in a second, but we can see that they must have learned vowel teams, flow, shooting, the OO in there. They must have learned some R-controlled vowels, like in the word birds, turtle, water, river, and so on. So the takeaway here, important, yeah, they're decodable texts, but my colleague and I, we don't call, I've gotten away from it. But when I was in the thick of all this work, I would call these phonetically regular texts. And I would only call them decodable once a child had learned the stuff to do that. So only decodable once a lesson, what's in them has been taught. And the student that can read the book on the left, great, that's a decodable book for them or a decodable passage, but the one on the right is not going to be for a few more weeks or another month or so. Does that make sense to everyone? Should I pause? Is there any question on that? Clear as mud or clear as day? I hope clear as day. So
Yeah, no questions in the chat box, at least.
fabulous. Good. I've done a little good here then. So I love this picture too. This is when the Reading League first started. We're in our 10th year of doing this work. I wanted to just start something with some friends who knew a little about everything and go around to schools in central New York where we live. And this is a picture from one of our year 2 events where we literally went to the school in the cafeteria and brought a bunch of decodable text. So I'm going to show you one of the action tasks we gave them. This was one of the most popular ones we ever did. Schools did not have decodable text in their buildings at all at this time. Nope, nope. And actually, the school that this is probably still doesn't. Mm, but it pains me. So using on the next slide, you're going to see a very simple text. It's from a Bob book and a phonics element inventory, similar to what they're filling out there. You can see they have the Bob book open and the passage on paper. They're circling those phonics element and counting how many of them are. So if we were to be together, I'd have you do the same thing. We're going to do this with the pleasure of Zoom, and we're going to see what the reader must have learned to make the text decodable. So, and unfortunately, this is Dot and Mitt, classic old. Did you know Bob Books started in 1976? Does that seem
I knew they
possible?
were old. I knew they
They're
were have been
old.
out a while. I'm like,
A
I want to say that.
while. That doesn't seem right to me. I have to go check that. But here's, and sadly, a text like this is what used to give people the cringes about decodable text. Such constrained language, unnatural language. I have a little snotty thing to fight back on that in a second. Not right yet. It is ridiculous language, but again, anyone in your family, any of your children learning a new instrument, and what's the first song they usually learn? Anyone have an idea? Do you remember? With a recorder, only three notes?
I'm gonna go with your hot cross buns we were talking earlier. All right, good.
Cheater. All right. It's painful to listen to. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. Dun, 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 It's three notes. It's painful to listen to, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a long decade. But why is that always the first song? Because you've managed to teach them in that 40-minute lesson today, three notes, and they can go home and play a song. And once they know more notes the next day, the songs become more sophisticated. I've already kind of stressed this point. So the text obviously can't sound like authentic language, right? This is just a tool. The point is to help them learn this closed syllable, learn the sounds of the letters, have them read all through a word, all of the things. And I honestly I tutored privately for 8 years as a little side hustle when my kids were in college. And I never ever had a student reading these things and say to me, this is ridiculous. You got anything better? This was the best thing that ever happened to them because coming to me to get help, they weren't reading at all. To be able to do this was just fantastic. They had their heads down. They were looking at those letters, thinking of what that sound is, holding that in memory, going to the next one. Which one is that? Oh, that's that sound. Okay, now I'm going to blend them together and then go back and work through it and say it out loud and then go to the next word. Oh, and I recognize that one and um yeah, let's high five and read it again and then let's read it again. And you know, again, was I see a cloud in the sky and I see a bird in the sky. Here's my snark. I see a tree in the sky or whatever's in the sky. Is that natural language? It's almost
Nope.
worse than this. But no one ever called out those, you know,
That's
they got
true.
the pass. They got a free pass that was okay.
I've never thought of it that way, but you're right. Like
Hmm.
decodables get a bad rap, but they have a true purpose.
Yeah, a real authentic purpose.
Hmm.
So, again, decodability is a feature of the reader. And if we'd look at the D and dot, we'd circle the D, we'd look at the O, we'd circle the O, and we'd get an inventory and be able to see. And no teacher has time to do this. Like decodable books are great now. They have all that in the back and they're in a scope and sequence. So, but I just want you to see that this students would need to know C, T, M, N, H, S, and P. I might have missed one, and then O, A, and I, the short O, those sounds. And so yeah, here's what it would look like, all said and done. All right, so back when books weren't so well laid out, and then now that schools are building up their decodable libraries, this is a good skill to be able to do, to be able to like put it on stickers on the bins and at a glance be able to grab books that have AI and O in them and send them home.
Well, and Dr. Murray,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
need for a scope and sequence, I think sometimes people want more text than they
Mm,
have available, but they go and pull from a different program or
yeah,
a different series, and the scope and sequence
right.
doesn't align.
Might be like,
Like, is there still advantage to at least we're still getting a little bit more practice, even though they won't know everything? Like, it's not
yes. Oh,
truly
yeah.
decodable.
There's no such thing as rigidity. You get as close as you can. Maybe point out to the child that there's going to be these, we haven't learned these yet. I'll put a little pencil under there, whatever. Just don't, but that's okay. But do the best you can. You might even get good at writing your own or, anyway. So lesson to text match won't drill this too much, but I just want you to know that this is something that many publishers use. It's the formula they use to create the books. They will say, okay, we want and by the way, there is no fun fact, not so fun fact, actually. And you just had Tim Shanahan on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So he would be the first to say, there's no scientific answer to how many why want to come on? I want to say predictable. Phonetic words need to be in there, decodable words.
We don't have
Um,
like a standard 85% need to be all previously learned, right? Like,
no,
there's a
no,
variation when something's decodable,
you
which I don't,
you can't. I mean, do you
yeah.
want so but let's look at something that's just let's keep something in mind that so this is a percentage that's calculated. So for okay, I have it here. The short piece about Bob the fish on the lower right in the green letters, it has 20 words total. And if student A has only learned short O and some single consonants, just single standalones, not digraphs, not blends. Um, how many words can they decode? So,
Three. I'm like trying to look through.
yeah,
They don't have digraphs. Two, Bob and
right.
on.
Bob and
Maybe.
on. Yeah, great, great quick guy, and we did not rehearse. So
We didn't.
exactly two. And so if we were to do the math, two divided by 20 words, this story is 10% lesson to text match. That would probably be a challenge. But student B has been taught all the vowels, all the digraphs, how to read blends. See, we're getting somewhere, right? And now how many can they decode? I'm going to save you some time and say 14.
Thank you.
And so 14 divided by 20 is 70%. Just a few more or less, like another month or so. I don't know, it depends on how fast things are going. You can really boost that up. And add the remaining six words are really high frequency words that would have been taught. The and he. That so then that's essentially a 100% decodable book, right? So I think that's fascinating to think about. And we're already at the part with my 10 tips. We're doing well. Tip one. Well, here it is. Match the reader's phonic knowledge to decodable texts. It will be done for you in your system, your program, your curriculum. And but when you bring in extra text, because you always want to give extra practice, or kids will want to read more, which would be great. So you do not have to go and calculate that lesson to text match. I just did that to make you have some aha moments. What do I have here? Okay, so this says an untrained eye would look at these two sentences, and anyone on the street, right, would say, hey, which one of these is more challenging? Well, people would say the second one, it's longer, or the words are longer. And that's absolutely true. But now we, in this Zoom room tonight, we understand and appreciate that the sentence, Sam ate a sandwich and had a cup of milk, would be good for somebody with what kind of knowledge, right? Well, let's see. SM, we could kind of, yeah, CH. Um, the word ate, I could pre-teach that maybe, but blends, right? So I would normally, we can, maybe we could have some people unmute for the next one, but you would appreciate to know that now that the second sentence, if it was the same reader who didn't know the other, what would they have to be taught in order to read the smooth stone tumbled over in the fast flowing stream. If you want to unmute and say some things, that would be fun. You don't have to take your camera off or anything, just
Half the
or
battle's
put it
finding the unmute button. Give
or
them a moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or put it in chat, it's just fun to wake us all up too.
So Jennifer said digraphs, final stable syllables,
Hmm.
suffixes,
Yep, the TH
definitely some
diagram.
inflectional endings in there.
Ooh, yes. Are controlled, silent E. There's a lot in this sentence. What do I have here? Yeah, the affixes and flowing and
Lots of vowel teams
yeah,
in there.
are controlled, right? So giving this to the student that ate Sam ate or that said Sam ate a sandwich and had a cup of milk would probably be frustrating for them. I tried to make sentences that he almost look to the naked eye or the untrained eye to be equal in length and number, but I don't think I have to with educators go to that length. You get what I'm talking about. So, decodable text is key in structured literacy. And this is a fascinating point that I keyed in on at some time. So on the left, the big picture is from the IDA, the International Dyslexia Association's website. I highly encourage you to go. I put the link up there to that and spend a little bit of time. They have beautiful infographics. And the outer circle on the left, there's some points I have noted here I want to make for you. For our purposes, the element of phonology, and that is in the red kind of triangle in the middle of that circle. Sound symbol learning, the one next to it in the orangish color. Syllables, green. All of these are particularly really well served in the use of decodable text. And even decodable text align with the teaching principles. So those are the outer circle. Teaching skills in logical order of the English language, beginning with the easiest and most basic concepts. That can be readily achieved with decodable text. Cumulative skills. Oh, yes, each subsequent text is going to feature concepts that have been previously learned and then spiral in the new ones. Concepts to be practiced and stuff. Instruction is absolutely going to be explicit. They will get really just direct instruction, not deducing things on their own. So over on the right is there, like it's almost like a bookmark printout. If you have that in your teacher's room or training room, it's great to have. And over on the left is the piece about the structured I just blew it up so you could see it more easily, but suffice it to say that decodable texts are an integral part in instruction with structured literacy. If you are going to use them, you'll be more successful doing so if you know basic phonic elements. If you have just graduated from teacher prep, pre-service, whatever you are, we have a mix of people with us tonight. You might not know these things. So these are just some basic things that will really help you to get familiar with as soon as you can. You'll be able to better select the texts and judge them as we just did. Knowing how to clip sounds too, so that you can help students blend the words accurately. And you'll be able to
You
make
want to give
better.
an example of that, Dr. Murray? I feel like people
Oh,
don't know that they're not
oh,
clipping their sounds. Like
oh,
you've got
I would
the
love to.
phonetic here, but I see
I
it
would
too
love.
often, and then it hurts the kids when it comes to spelling time. So
Yeah, yeah, it does. So clipping sounds. So we've all heard M says ma, T says ta.
uh,
So the ta is not one sound, it's t and I've spelled it with a UH, but you get the idea. So we really want to clip away that sound that gets added to letters when kids are taught the sounds that they make and just keep it to the very first piece, and t, without adding the second sound. An example would be B, ba. Nope, that's not, it's hard to say it without the ba, without the it's b. just the little popping sound. So that beautiful point that you made, Jennifer, and if you want to say it again now that I've said that about spelling in particular, that would be great.
Well, it's just they're like, okay, T makes t, and so when they go to write, they're like, what letters spell t? And you're like, oh, and it just translates
Yeah.
there. Like I think when they're doing it orally, I don't see the issue, but it's when they go to written form that that teacher not clipping the sound translates to print,
Yeah.
and kids are confused now. And the teacher's like, oh, it's not ta, it's T. If you know, it's just T. But they because they
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
ta, they don't know what letters make ta,
yeah.
and so it gets a little tricky.
The
And
word pat can come out with like
yeah, and I
C-U-A-T
think a
and
lot of times teachers are just trying to like
yeah,
extension, like say the sound, but it's like, oh, I have a teacher, she's so great, she loves feedback, and I walked in and I'm like, oh, she's not clipping her sounds, and so I just like
yeah.
clip your sounds, and she's like, oh yeah.
I
It
mean, and
happens, you know.
it happens. I mean, you and I have been at some conferences, our national conference with these stars up on
Yep.
on
Like when
the
you're in the moment, it's like, but you're like, no.
yeah, and you're like, oh, and you see the whole room go, oh,
It's
clip
true.
my sound. Are we safe here? Oh my gosh, I'm crazy.
Love it.
All right. I love this. Okay, thank you. How are we doing on time? Am I all right? No,
You're doing great.
I didn't bring my phone in. Remember, I was
I know.
obedient.
You've got 20-ish minutes. You're gonna make
Oh,
it.
fine, fine. We're gonna get there sooner rather than later. Tip four. Sorry this didn't end up animated, but it's a lot of words, so we'll just go through this bit by bit. So a lot of teachers are like, great, but now this is my first time using decodable text. I don't know what to do when a student gets stuck. I don't know how to help them move on. So some of the things that are very common are kids coming to a screeching halt. And they usually look up at you, but we're not getting to that fourth bullet yet. They're like, the answer is written on your face, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Looking for your verbal and you're reading your eyes. And are your lips pursed? So they become stuck on a word. This is explicit instruction. Point to the one they get stuck on and say, what's the sound of, let's say M, and what does it make? And you can provide it if necessary. That's okay. And let's work together to blend that together. Now that you know, remember, yes. So monkey, or money, give them the keyword that they're used to. If I'm going too fast on this, I'm happy to slow down or tell
I'll
you
ask
more detail.
clarifying questions if I think like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. And then you want to use the I do, we do, you do, working through that. And there's great, just if you're not familiar with that, get yourself an Anita Archer book, go to one of her trainings, or at least go on Reading Rocket's blog. You can just hunt for I do, we do, you do, but you'll model the blending of that word and then you do it together and you run your finger under it and then you have them do it one more time. So that's a few times looking at that word or that piece. If they always seem to get stuck on one word in particular, some kids just have one or two things that it's hard to get automatized. You want to possibly pre-read the words. If you just taught that B flat, if you just taught that CH digraph, let's find that in the book before we read. This is taking the place of the old picture walk or the things like that that consumed some time but didn't have so much bang for their buck. It might be nice to say, all right, well, this is it. And it'll be fun to kind of do a little high five when we find that CH as we go through and whatever. No looking at you, that takes retraining and untraining rather. And we want the word, I promise you, the word has everything you need in it to be successful and figure this out. And um, got to go slow to go become fast, right? We want them to do the heavy lift. It's so hard not to, and I still would do it today. If I had to leave this room and go tutor a child, I can promise you I would blurt the word by mistake. It's like, how do I still do this? Just try not to do that when they miss it. It's a hard thing not to provide the answer. And then definitely discourage first letter guessing and anything like that. We don't reliance on that. They need to know that in the word son, that first letter is important. But guess what? So it's It's the three of them. They're sharing it, a third each of responsibility for that word. And why would that last sound not be as important? That's what always used to drive me crazy with exercises like, worksheets, at, bat, cat, fat, mat, like, and have
Hmm.
them read. But now you've taught them that the rest of the word is just you memorize it and ignore it. So, all right.
Can I ask the little
Yeah.
distinction between the first and the second bullet? So, like,
Mm.
it says, ask the student what the sound is, provided if necessary, help them blend it. That's more like a we do, but you had the I do and the blend the using. So, like, when would you say as a teacher, I model versus when I'm going to try and coach them to see if they can do it?
Oh, that's a
Like,
great
help me with
question.
that distinction.
Yeah, that's a great, great distinction. So, the first one is more of a general overarching. If they get stuck, you're going to see what they're stuck on, and you can just pop in and provide that sound. And you don't want to halt the whole thing. Maybe that's all they need is a reminder of that's ch. Yep. Or remember chin? Oh yeah, chin, and they go. And they might need help blending it smoothly. They might not. But if they do need help blending it and it's just not coming out, it's coming out very, what's the term, striated or choppy or sound by sound instead of blended all together, then we will spend the time. So one is just like, to me, the distinction is just this is the sound is the problem, remembering
Hmm.
the sound. The other one is more of that blending task is so hard. It is like one of the mountains to climb in this whole reading enterprise, decoding enterprise. So you can, the scaffolding of let's hear it, listen to me do it, and then let's do it together. And now you do it is so helpful to have the multiple all through the word reading happen, not just a single sound repair. Is
Well, I
that
think,
helpful?
yeah,
And
and
what
that
else
I
would you
do,
add, Jennifer?
well, that I do, we do, you do. What I often see is like the teacher will correct it and then
Mm,
maybe we do it, but they never get back to the you do. So
yeah.
like the word is tap, tap, your turn. Let's do it together. And we do it together.
Mhm.
Tap. Okay, now your turn on your own. That last stage often gets left off, and the teacher doesn't turn off their voice. Like they keep scaffolding it
Yeah.
rather than removing that. So I think
Yeah.
that you do is meant to be like on your own because
Yeah.
you want them, they've now been guided twice through it. They should be able to produce it one more
Yep.
time, and it gives them, they truly, it's corrective feedback, but in a successful way, I guess is the part that I think is often missed when I watch instruction. Like they often will do
Beautiful.
the I do, we do, but the you do part, like your turn now.
Yeah. Yep. You can do it. You can do.
You can
Awesome.
do.
So, tip five is a little bit, we're in obvious town. Sorry, this is my, what I say, third or fourth presentation today, so my voice is a little low on gas, but please do not show students the picture as the answer to confirm or to read the word. It's a beautiful thing to read the sentence or the word and then look at the picture to confirm they were right. And what's delightful is this last piece down here, and I'm going to then show you some examples. Publishers of decodable text now are deliberately selecting pictures so that they confirm what was read, but can't be relied on to clue what the word is. And so I'll show you what that means right now. This is part of the tip to think about. So the one in the upper left, amplify. Ted thinks and plans. Ted is fast with math. Nothing in that picture really tells you that he's thinking, that he's planning, and that he's fast, or even that it's math, for that matter. It's kind of
Right?
scribbly. So that's fabulous. But if you read Ted thinks and plans, Ted is fast with math, that almost tells me I got that right in a sense. Lower left, stink bug wings have net-like tips. Looking at that picture, I don't nothing shows me that's a nut-like tip. But when I read the sentence and I look at the picture, I'm like, oh yeah, I got it right. Something about it. You see what I'm saying? So that's very low picture support. Bats eat bugs, some eat figs, some sip from buds. Okay. This is a bat eating what I don't even know what that is. That doesn't look like a
Probably a
bug.
fig. I'm going with a fig.
It's probably a fig, right?
I'm
Yeah.
going with it.
So the gull tugs. Beautiful. I'm right, but I wouldn't have guessed it from that. So there's no guessing. Reduction of guessing. Love it. All right, fun time. All right, boosting stamina. I always taught the capstone course in the literacy graduate program where we were doing the practicum in the classroom or in the school afterwards and paired up with a struggling reader. And so the kids at first were like pulling their hoods up over their head and going, feet, I don't want to be here. I don't like to read. I can do it, I just don't want to. And oh my gosh. So for these beginners or especially struggling readers who have avoidance behaviors, stamina is a huge hurdle. You thought the hurdle was in blending, it might just be the stamina. So if they have a really hard time, it's mentally intimidating, it's humiliating, it's even physically tiring for them to read an entire text or even a full page. So I have some creative ideas, and I think I have them described well here for you. These are old pictures, and the one on the left's a video, but I don't think I can get it to work. It's okay. Um, so the first one on the very far left with the orange post-it notes, instead of giving the book to the student, we took the sentences from the book and broke it into and typed it on paper or printed it on paper. So it wasn't a book. And then the lift the flap thing, blocked the brain from seeing that text. Well, I mean, they know it's there, but it's not of mind. And then the lift the flap is a little bit of a gameish thing, we're talking young children. So then reading one sentence at or two or two at a time, maybe a page of them, 2 or 3 lessons goes by, and that child comes in for their lesson on the next Tuesday evening or after school, and there's the book. I can't read that book. You did. And you did. You actually did. Now you can read it in the book form. And we can keep these out if you'd rather read it from the paper. Another one is to cover all the images on the page with sticky notes. So that's the middle one. And you can say, when you're done reading the words, you can uncover the picture. Now, my motto that I love to say is pictures are great, but they can wait. So just let's pause on that and you read the passage. I am the red bug. I can run and run on my 6 big legs. It's not a very good cover up, but um, you lift that flap. Yep, there it is. And that's your reward. And the picture on the far right is the opposite exercise. Now you get to look at the picture first for a moment or two, kind of get the scheme of what might be happening. And because that's a lot more text under that one, so you can peel that paper away and the picture, you can see these are two boys traveling and they're buckling up and something's happening. So they could help you. That would be okay. That kind of picture support might help a longer passage. Here's some more. This one's so cute. This is one I developed when I was tutoring, and it always worked really well for the kids in the clinics I taught to. So these are for kids who are motivated by earning points, whether it's to just get the points or a little competition we work in. Some kids are competitive, some kids love to be timed. It's just you don't know. But here are all the words are covered on the page. And so they're not defeated. They get to enjoy the picture for just a second, not dwell. I'm a very, like every second counts kind of instructor. But on the back is a lightly penciled number value. It can be as little as a point. It can be 5 or 6 points. It's completely random. It doesn't mean more words. You might get a point for reading a ton of words. You might get 6 points for reading 2 words. It's random. Um, and then they can even, if competition is a thing. So say, Jennifer, you read the last page and you got 2 points, and now you're going to read this one and flip it over, and you're going to get 4 points for reading that. And we keep a little tally. You don't get anything for it.
Right.
but just earning points takes the
It's
onus
amazing
off
what
of
that just does.
it
Really.
disconnects you from I got to read this. Now it's not completely gone, but it really does help. Gamifying this. Oh, and then you could co-read. So if you're really tired and you don't want it, I'll read it and I'll take the points. So, well, I don't want Dr. Murray to have the points, and they would like do anything in their power to make sure at the end of the lesson, I
They
got
won. Right.
0 points. I never got a single point. What a shame. So then another way you could do it is have them peel a sticky note off before, consider the value, consider how much text is, not too long, it's got to be fast. And then they decide, or if they're teacher. So it's completely, they're in control when before they felt completely adrift, right? I love
It's
this.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
um, and yes, yeah, making the reading of this text fun is a good way to erase that intense concentration and fear. Yep, much less anxiety. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
People are loving it in the chat box. And I think just making
Isn't
it
it like so
feel more
simple?
like a game. Like kids like to play
Yeah,
games. We're still
they
gonna
do.
read, but let's give you some random points that mean nothing. They don't
I
care. They're happy.
know. There's not even like if you get 30 points, you get
Right?
nothing. You get nothing,
Nothing.
and they like it. As my grandfather would say, you get nothing and like it. Okay, this might be worth it. It's another, I should put a sticky note up on all this block of text here, but it does take time to build a level or a decodable library. I mean, and it took years for schools to build. Remember those full classrooms full of level text? Those didn't come overnight. So obviously, on the picture on the left is a great example of resorting level text by topic for connected text reading and not for decodable, but I love that astronauts and space technology, great. But you could go on your favorite science of reading Facebook group and say, can you send pictures of how you organize? I don't have the time to go through all of that, but they could give you like lists of topics, so you figure that out in your school. And you can, although it's not really great, try to level the level text according to decodability. But it's just remember, they just weren't made for that. They
Nope.
weren't. You might have the word blue, we pick blueberries, we pick pumpkins, we pick, you know, I don't know. And they're just not decodable. It's not easy. It would take some time. Might be a good team project. So when you do build your decodable text library and you say like, well, we've got a lot that seem the same, start infusing, titles that are culturally relevant, nonfiction. Don't forget your older students, those multisyllabic words. Always consider how it aligns with your existing or supplements, fills voids in your program. Everyone needs more books with blends. That always seems to be something you want more of. Are irregular words noted somewhere? If not, put them in the book. Like make some stickers or write them in the book yourself. Note what syllables are represented if that's not noted in the book. Sometimes that's not obvious. Get some cool hardcover options. I mean, I'm talking if you have money, which nobody does, but get some community grants from your community foundation and whatnot to bolster your classroom and school-wide library. You might have a literacy coalition in your county or state area that would love to help your school become more aligned with the science of reading. So,
Well, and can you speak? I don't know that everyone's familiar with that high-low
oh, I'm very
piece,
sorry. I
especially for
glossed
the
over.
upper elementary kids that still need a
Mhm.
decodable, but you don't want to put them in cat
Yeah.
set on the mat. Like those high-low options. Will you speak to those? Because I don't know that everyone's familiar with
I will. I
those.
wish I had one to show you,
They're
sir. Oh,
super
I think
cool.
I have. I think I have a pic. Let's go quickly through
Okay.
here. Um, mm, no, I don't. Oh yes, the one with the elephant is a shared, so that's high-low. So on the left pan page is decodable for the students based on what they've been taught, and on the right-hand page, you would read it to them. It's more sophisticated vocabulary, so it's kind of like a read aloud combined with a decodable. Pretty cool. So it's Gosh,
It's
we
just
had
a good
not
option when you have older kids that really shouldn't be in the decodables that we used in kindergarten and first grade that need to know their letters and sounds. Like there's some great
adults.
series out
Yeah.
there for that.
Make sure you always, at least once in your lifetime, teach an adult to read. You will be forever joy-filled. It's the best thing I ever did. And then use this is a no-brainer, right? Decodable texts aren't the sole diet. Absolutely not. And then when do we discontinue them? Um, there is no pat answer for that, but you do want to make sure that they can read accurately single syllables out of context. And I put some sample random Common Core state standards. If you look at the one with the two over on the right side, so RF Reading Foundations 4.3a. So use combined knowledge of all letter sound correspondences, syllabication patterns, and morphology to read accurately unfamiliar multisyllabic words in context and out of context. So words have to be able to be read um, single syllables individually and then not just in with the support of the context carrying you along like you're a float on some wavy water. And then you want to be able to read, again, just like that one just said, two-syllable words with all complete syllable patterns, including the schwa. Now, is this for every student? Is this a lockstep? Wait a minute, I think, are a little low on this thing. Let's get you back into decodables. No, this is with using your data, using your judgment. But this is a general rule about do they have accuracy in these patterns? Because you don't want them going into fourth, fifth grade with Swiss cheese holes in their knowledge that preclude them from reading some longer words down the road, right? So you don't want you don't want them coming to a multisyllabic word and going because they didn't master a certain syllable pattern or spelling
Well,
pattern.
Dr. Murray, I think like in the K2 space, things even like ing and ed that kids often
Yeah.
either leave off or like look at that word and go, it's too big. Like helping
Yeah.
kids to look at those,
Yeah.
find those chunks.
Yeah.
And decodables are great practice because they're going to give you a lot of examples of that. But I have,
Sure.
teachers tell me all the time, like they see a big word and they either skip it, they read the first part,
Mhm.
they leave the ending off. There's all these things. Like decodables are great for that practice that you can say,
Yeah.
oh, I think there's more to that word.
I mean, from how long have I been at this? Almost 4 decades now. Um, when kids were raised on a diet of reading some decodable texts and paying attention and going through a word, they didn't become afraid of longer words.
Interesting.
Because the brain had now, I'm not even talking about orthographic mapping in this talk, but their brains mapped entire patterns like the pin and pinch and the leet and pleat. And it just gets bigger and bigger patterns mapped. And you don't need to read curd as C-U-R-D. You already have I don't know, cur would be a weird thing to have, but you would recognize that right away. All right. And my last tip is that it would be good to have some use of decodable text until they can read words not just accurately, but automatically. If they're still going, sound, something's going on. And especially if you've been using decodable text and phonics and stuff for a while, um, you want to look into that and see what else might be happening. But how exciting when they do achieve that automaticity. Earlier on we were saying, well, we don't want, they are going to start out slow at first. They're not on the highway yet. They're playing hot cross buns. Now they've got all the notes, they've got the chords, they've got all of that together, and it is just sounding more like music more every day. So, when we were advertising for that event that I showed you at that school back in the day, look at our old logo and everything. Back in the day, gosh, it wasn't even 7 years ago, but we were advertising. Look in some of these gorgeous decodables kids can feel proud about actually reading versus giving the illusion of reading. So, are they boring, contrived, and lacking authentic language? No, not like they used to be. Here are some more kids need to practice the phonics skills they've learned in connected decodable text. It's a myth that they cannot be engaging. Think they're all boring, unattractive, inauthentic. Think again. And we had all these out on display for the teachers to look through. Here's
Yeah, we've
some
come a
more.
long ways in this world.
Oh, they're even getting outdated by now. I mean, I could, and here's an example of any kind of text for beginning readers can be boring, of course, because they don't have the things yet. You are starting with hot cross buns. And don't they impair fluency? Oh, this was always the, nope. Well, is the fluency they're reading when they read this? I can see a kitchen in my house. I can see a bedroom. Is that really fluency?
Right.
If you take the pictures away, are they fluent reading that? If you take that predictable sentence fragment out, no. So we would be wrong to expect any children to sound fluent when it's not just the point that they're putting so much mental and cognitive attention to it. It's because the actual act of decoding and blending, there's so many things manifesting and happening at the same time, which are all new. I'm learning Spanish with my husband because my new daughter-in-law is fully bilingual and they're going to be, our grandchildren will be bilingual. So it is torture to hear us. We've already been at 3 years with our lessons and gosh, it's
Still
embarrassing.
learning, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did the thing at their wedding and I practiced it 1,000 times and I know
Oh
it
gosh.
still sounded terrible. It's okay. I'm just still having to note, that that's an E there and how to say that in my mind. It will come. The Reading League has on its website, thereadingleague.org, decodable text sources, and it is a big, long list. This is not an endorsement. No one pays us to have these. They can send us the books, which we prefer to send back to them, so there's no conflict of interest, but we paw through them and make sure there is a scope and sequence and um, it isn't something else in disguise. It actually is a decodable book if you are learning patterns. And then we put it on here for you to, if you're looking to develop your library, you can click through and see for yourself. But again, these are not endorsements of any kind. They are just what's out there. And look how many. It's incredible. And I guess that's it. So if you aren't connected with TRL in general, please take a snapshot of that QR code and connect. It is free. We don't have a membership fee. We are free to be in the league. And that gets you our monthly newsletter that close to 100,000 people open every month. And it's got everything with what we're up to and doing these days and offering all of our resources and what our chapters are up to too. So that's it. All I have to say now is thank you. And do you have questions?
Awesome. Go ahead and put any questions you might have in the chat box. We'll be happy to take those. I think we got to all the ones that we saw, which
You
is
took
great.
cheering away. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
and continue to share. And if there are any final questions, we will take those in the chat. Here's just some ways to follow Dr. Maria Murray if you're interested. LinkedIn's a great place. She puts some great
Mhm.
food for thought in there as well as resources. And then obviously the Reading League is definitely the newsletter is really helpful just from one staying current, but also like the resources they share. They put out a lot of things, but they also connect you to other
The
quality
click,
resources.
the
So you don't have to
click-through
be the
rate on that?
curator.
Yeah, the click-through rate on that is outrageous because
Right.
there's something for everybody in
Right.
that newsletter. Yeah.
Totally. And for those of you that would like to join us in a future webinar, we've got I don't think she's doctor yet. We've got Shannon Bowles who's going to come to speak to us about
Oh,
multilingual
nice.
students and how to support practical strategies, how to support them in the classroom in tier one. And then here's our flyer. I did put that in the chat box if you are looking at what's coming up. These things right now we just post on social media. So if you want to follow us on Facebook, it's the Reading League Utah, Instagram's the Reading League UT, and LinkedIn, if you just do Reading League Utah, you will find us. So just different ways to stay connected, stay informed, know what's happening both locally and nationally, which is super nice to have both those connections with the Reading League National and Reading League Utah. And Dr. Maria Murray, thank you so much. I think decodables get a bad rap, but they really are the opportunity to
No.
apply all of that word level skill in connected text and to
Yep.
build fluency. We read them more than once, so we do get more automatic and feel like a reader at the end with a very controlled set that then we need to tell kids
Yep.
now take those skills and apply it to the grade level material that you're going to
Exactly.
use. So
Yep.
there's a time and place for all of it. And I do love that the resources have gotten so much more rich and of quality
They're
than what
just
we used to
beautiful.
have. They are.
Yes.
There's amazing stuff out there now.
So stay
And there's just,
tuned. Definitely join TRL's um, newsletter because we have some big news coming out as far as decodable text soon.
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I will send out
Thank
the recording so you can share it with others as you see fit or rewatch if there was a moment you're like, what did she say? It'll be available for you. Thank you so much, Dr. Murray. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. Enjoy the rest of your evening,
Thank
everyone.
you, Reading League Utah, for all you do. Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks.